Peter Parker Intern 2 Bruce Banner by 107th Infantry. Chapter 21 Shuri. Shuri rushed to the runway with an excited energy. T'Challa was bringing her a present today. It was supposed to be a secret, but as soon as her tech sensed an incoming plane, she knew it was going to be a smart foreigner. She was holding out on finding a genius ever since Tony Stark had let her down. His mind was too set in its ways by the time she had met him. All that old-age technology had muddied his thoughts, and he hadn't been willing to relearn everything. Her brother was already standing to greet the plane when she arrived. He gave her a tired but unsurprised look. You could never keep a secret around her. Finally, the plane door opened. Black Widow stepped out. Wow, she was pretty. Then Bruce Banner. Boring. She could just read his research online. Shuri turned to chastise her brother when a teenager with a boyish face and a mop of brown hair stepped out of the plane. He placed a hand on Bruce's arm to steady himself. Ooh, Bruce Banner's secret son. She could work with this. Young enough to collaborate with and smart enough to learn Wakandan technology. And if he didn't have a science background, she'd be a rhino's behind. Bruce better have taught him engineering, she thought as they approached. Peter Parker, the boy introduced himself. Damn. Adopted, maybe. Still, if he was here, he was smart and nice enough to be trusted not to start an international incident. Shuri, she responded. Want to come to my lab? His eyes lit up. Definitely a nerd, she smiled. Don't break anything, exclaimed Bruce and T'Challa at the same time. Never, Shuri replied, rolling her eyes and pulling Peter away while the adults went back to chatting. So, Peter, do you want to blow some stuff up? Absolutely. Chapter 22 Memelords. Wow, Peter marvelled when they finally got to Shuri's lab. It was so different than his. There was a futuristic curvature to the architecture and a sterile but pleasant smell in the air. Peter kind of missed the dilapidated furniture that spotted Bruce's lab, but he got over it incredibly quickly once he saw what was outside the window. Vibranium. It was going too fast. It should have exploded, but as he watched, it just zipped by harmlessly. When Peter looked back at Shuri, he saw her watching him. How? I get the magnetic levitation, that makes sense theoretically, but how are we not dead? The vibranium isn't stable. Shuri looked like she approved. Sonic stabilizers. That explains literally nothing, but judging from your tone, it's worked before, Peter laughed. Really, please tell me. And more than just ha-ha sound waves make vibranium go brrr. Are you a man of memes? Shuri practically shouted. Does Bernie Sanders wear mittens? Oh my god, I'll explain everything. Just never leave me again. No one here gets it. Shuri really milked the last part, practically draping herself over a chair with her hand on her head as if it was all too much. Just then, an intimidating woman in traditional clothes walked in. Calm yourself, child, she said in a beautiful Wakandan accent. I've come to tell you not to get into too much trouble. I believe that I've been threatened for the first time in my life. That redhead wants her boy back in one piece. Got it, Okoye. I'd never let harm come to such a cultured individual. All right, but no blowing things up. I overheard you earlier, and I'll be keeping an eye on you. Shuri turned to Peter. Well, Plan A is out. Are you really interested in the sonic stabilization? Absolutely. Then I suppose we have an activity after all. When Bruce came to pick Peter up from the lab at the end of the day, the boy was inside a black sand model of a sonic stabilizer. Shuri had pulled up about 6 different screens to surround them. Instead of barging in, Banner decided to listen. Flopper is twice the size of Bingus. He would win in a fight, Peter's voice came out of the sand. You forget that Bingus has way more swag, responded Shuri. Flopper grew up on the streets. He's a successful rapper. What do you mean Bingus has more swag? Bingus was a president. A dictator. Dr. Banner decided this was the best time to interject. Peter, time to go. Only if you tell Shuri that Flopper would win in a fight, came a defiant voice from the sand. How did he get into these situations? Princess, I believe that Flopper, whoever that is, would win in the fight. You don't know Flopper, Shuri exclaimed. You're a princess, Peter interrupted. No, I'm some random person who has access to the entire palace. Of course I'm a princess. I'm just wondering why you haven't educated your father on meme culture. My brother at least knows who Flopper is. Peter and Bruce glanced at each other. I'm actually his intern, but I do agree that he should know more about meme culture. Ah, the spy is your mom. That makes an odd amount of sense. Peter blushed. Nope, just an intern. If it helps, he's our favourite intern, Bruce contributed. Hey, I'm your only intern, laughed Peter. He extracted himself from the sand to gently shove Bruce on the arm. Said Shuri, who didn't look convinced. We'll bring Peter back soon. He's hopelessly behind on vibranium tech. Besides, someone needs to educate him on meme lore. You're the one that needs educating. I'll text you later, Shuri. This conversation isn't over. Peter grinned as they left. It had almost been a normal field trip if he ignored the private jet and superheroes and crazy tech. Okay, so maybe it hadn't been normal, but it had certainly been fun. Bruce fiddled with some paperwork while Peter played Shuri an online chess match. Somehow the flight home was so much longer than the flight there had been. Hi, I hope you enjoy the podfic. If you do, please consider subscribing as I try to upload at least twice a week. It really makes my day. I am taking requests, so if you have a favourite fic you would like covered, drop me a comment and I will reach out to the author for you. Have a lovely day.